Back for game 2 of High School Hockey Night Live. High School Hockey Night Live. Let me try that again. It's not that late yet. I'm Matt Gajtka. Kevin's Pharmacy brings you Peters Township hosting Bethel Park at Printscape Arena in South Point. Welcome back to 10 Band TV, everyone, and our PIHL channel. And Todd Kazarowski and crew are on site bringing you the pictures and the wonderful audio as well as we get set for a matchup between two teams that are right there smack dab in the middle of the AAA standings. But at least they were as of a couple of days ago after last night's results in AAA. 2 games in all. Suddenly, Peters Township is back in 8th out of 11 teams, and Bethel Park is in 7th. Peters Township has a 3-3 record. There you see the Tribe in their white and red jerseys, and Bethel Park in their black and orange. Bethel Park, the Blackhawks, at 3-2-1 for head coach Mike Shaw. And like I mentioned, Peters Township for Rick Tingle has leveled their record at 3-3 after back-to-back home wins. This is their 4th consecutive home game. After this one, they'll have played 5 out of 7 here at Printscape before the schedule starts to turn on them. But, well, you can't say they've taken full advantage of that as they have lost at home to North Allegheny and Seneca Valley in those matchups against fellow traditional AAA powers. But, like I said, the last 2 times out, much better for Peters Township. 6-2 winners against Mount Lebo 2 weeks ago. And last week, in a game you saw right here on 10 Band TV, it was the nightcap as well of a Tuesday twin bill. The Indians doubled up Central Catholic 4-2. As for Bethel Park, it was a 3-1 start for the Blackhawks. But since then, even though they rallied late to tie Upper St. Clair 2 weeks ago on the road, they ended up losing 4-3 in overtime. They got a point out of it, but I suppose they would say it could have easily been 2 and could have been a 3-game win streak at that point. Instead, that was cut short. And then last week at home, a disappointing 4-0 loss to Pine Richland. That's the second time in 6 games that Bethel Park has been shut out on the season. Bethel Park has outscored its foes by a couple of goals on the year, cumulatively 18-16. Their leading goal getter is senior forward Doug Hartman, who wears number 6. Also impressing in the early going, Ethan Cooley, senior forward, who wears 29, and another senior forward, Anthony Carner with a K, who wears 20. Both of those gentlemen have 2 goals and 4 assists on the year. Riley Gusky, the senior goalie, number 33, has started every game. He's finished every game for Bethel Park with a 3-2-1 record, an .894 save percentage, and a 2.49 goals against average. So the Blackhawks aren't giving up a ton of shots on goal. Judging by the goaltending numbers, there is Riley Gusky. On the Peters Township side, Drew Alexander, senior forward, number 46, has 4 goals to lead the squad. But Camden Martin, senior number 91, has 5 assists and 8 points. Tops on the team. Caven Fisher, junior defenseman, has 4 points for Peters Township. He ranks 3rd on the squad. It has not been a prolific offensive start for Peters Township. They've averaged just over 2.5 goals per game. That's 8th best out of 11 teams. They've given up just under 3. That's right in the middle of the pack in that regard. No real obvious culprits on the special team side of things either. I suppose the power play could be better, but it has scored 4 times on 27 chances. That's a lot of opportunities for Peters Township. Typically, they play 5-on-5 heavy games, or they have over the past few years. That's one thing I've noticed. They have played traditionally games in which not a lot of penalties are called. This year, they've gotten plenty of chances, though. 27, as I mentioned. And they've been shorthanded just the 13 times. That's a little more normal for PT, so just about a couple times a game. In goal for Peters Township, Kyle Thomas, the senior, has started 5 out of 6. He's 2-3. And the man who helped lead Peters Township to the Penguins Cup Championship last year has an .899 save percentage and a 2.66 goals against. Ethan Williams played last time out and got the victory against Central Catholic. .921 was his save percentage in that outing. As you see, warm-ups are over. The 2 teams are headed to their respective benches as we're cleaning up the pucks, getting set to go. Peters Township is working in a few more I don't want to say underclassmen. Well, they do have a couple underclassmen in the lineup regularly. Freshman Landon Klein and Blake Ivancic, and sophomore Brady Holleran, and sophomore Matthew Scoobert as well. But it's still their usual arrangement of seniors. That's 14 senior skaters plus the senior goalie Kyle Thomas I can count who have played regularly so far this season. On the Bethel Park side, more of the same, although they have 4 sophomores who have played regularly to start this year. Bethel Park has not been traditionally toward the, has not been recently toward the top of the standings. Of course, this is one of the oldest programs in the state of Pennsylvania. They've been doing it since the late 70s at BP. Peters Township not used to being this far down the standings 6 games in. They weren't exactly lighting the world on fire last year through the first half of the season before they seriously picked it up when the calendar turned over. The puck is dropped, we're underway, and Bethel Park pursuing this puck into the offensive zone. Peters Township defending the goal to the left. Cleared up the far wing and unable to emerge with it, but poked out to center. And so we'll restart. Bethel Park on the backhand. Chipping it in. Caven Fisher retrieving. Fisher up the near wall. Peters Township in their home whites with the red helmets, red pants. Here's leading goal man for the Indians, Drew Alexander. Tried to center it. It was a good pass, but it skipped right through Fisher and Charlie Caputo, who had 2 last week, including the clincher late against Central Catholic. Caputo centers one. It's free onto the leading point man for PT, Camden Martin, who flips it to the corner, but it quickly bounced right back out to center by the Blackhawks. That's how the first minute goes in this one. I'm Matt Gajtka. This is 10 Band TV's presentation of PIHL hockey and Peters Township hockey in their 50th anniversary year. Tonight's game brought to you by Kevin's Pharmacy. Back toward the PT end. Luca Maeda playing defense this year in his junior season. He had been a forward his first 2 years here for Peters Township at the varsity level. And Maeda has chipped in a goal and an assist so far from that new spot. And here is Maeda, number 34. Luca takes a look. He's going to carry it, make the 20-foot dish up ahead for the redirect into the offensive zone, and a line change behind the play for Peters Township. Wholesale. Toss back into the PT zone. Not a lot to speak of in terms of rush chances so far. Kyle Palmieri picks this off the wall. Played it into the middle. That was intercepted by Ryland Jones, senior forward, number 24 in black. Bethel Park wearing the road jerseys that say Hawks diagonally down the front. Here's a quick chance, and the first save of the game for either side. Ian Majernik rifling that on goal, and Kyle Thomas is heard from for the first time. So Thomas, with a record of 2-3, gets back in goal for Coach Rick Tingle. Have to imagine that's Gusky at the other end for Bethel Park, although I haven't had visual confirmation yet, as the Indians haven't gotten a shot off. Jones whiffed on that from the slot. That was a half-decent look. Couldn't get it on frame. Palmieri pokes it ahead. Zach Palmieri to the corner. Called him, might have called him Kyle a couple of minutes ago. I've had some NHL-related slip-ups tonight. I was calling Jackman Stillman in the first game. And, of course, Kyle Palmieri, longtime NHL forward. Zach Palmieri, a senior forward for Peters Township. Here's Caputo dropping it off. Camden Martin hit the iron. Possibly the top of the post, maybe where the post and the crossbar come together on the left side of the cage. And is that Kevin Tiemann actually in net? The sophomore, it might be, getting his first start of the season. Looked like that was 30, not 33. So after all the talk about Gusky playing well, might be on the bench to start this one. Martin again, save made. And the rebound deflected in, cleared out to center ice. Martin takes another headman pass. Camden Martin, shifty as always, left it to Caputo. to Martin, then to Caputo again, and back to Camden Martin. And it is Kevin Tiemann, the sophomore, making his varsity debut for Bethel Park. First shot he faced went off the crossbar. Second shot he stopped. Deflected shot, and Tiemann makes that save, just positionally sound. On the rip from the point by Fisher. Fisher has it right toward the net, wide of the goal that time. Stuffed in front by Caputo, and picked off by Ethan Cooley. He'll bang it out to center ice. Does Cooley. I believe he was wearing the captain's C. Looked like that was the case. Dish up ahead, away from Anthony Carner, one of the top guns for Bethel Park. Ryan Tierney now behind the back play. The puck is bogged down on the near side kick plate. Joey Wateska trying to pull it loose for PT, and does. And Alexander ushers it out to center ice. This is Landon Klein, the freshman forward. His backhand finds a home behind the net. John Repepe on the chase. Couldn't get there in time to create anything offensively. Wateska, he's cleaned out on a strong check by Carner. A forearm right to the chest. Offside against Bethel Park on the shoot-in. So again, the goaltending battle tonight, Thomas versus Tiemann. Kevin Tiemann, his first PIHL appearance. Welcome to the show, young man. And welcome to our show, for that matter. Well, that couldn't have been an offside because the face-off was at center ice, right at the center circle. Jones has a look, puts it on net, saved by Tiemann. Troy Jones, good to see him back, missed the last game. Holleran lays a check. Blake Holleran, or Brady Holleran, pardon me, in the corner. Had a goal a couple of games ago, his first as a varsity Indian. Shovel play ahead by Hartman. Nothing doing for Bethel Park. Bethel Park averages 3 goals per game. It's right in the middle of the pack. Right on goal with that shot was Carner, and Kyle Thomas no trouble with it as he pinned it between his blocker and his glove hand. Just past 9 o'clock, we got started right on time this evening. Actually, maybe even a little bit ahead of time. Peters Township has 2 shots. Bethel Park has 2 shots. In our first game, North Allegheny trounced Cannon Mac 4-0 to move to 6-1 on the season. And now 4 points clear of the field in Class AAA. Cannon Mac still winless at 0-6. Now they'll head on the road after 4 in a row at home. Maeda's wrister blocked off the skate of Peter Velaceres. He went down, sacrificed the lower body at least. Palmieri takes it. He's had a lot of the puck in this first period, but his pass out to Maeda, he's got to dive for it, does Maeda. Kept it in the offensive zone, but only briefly, with Carner skipping it out through center ice. Maeda on the indirect pass, but, well, too indirect. It goes all the way down for an icing. Peters Township started off with a 3-2 win on the road at Pine Richland. We had that game for you on 10 band. Then a 2-1 loss to North Allegheny at home, and a 3-0 defeat to Upper St. Clair. As here's Carner. That was on the road too. Carner couldn't get that on frame. Then a home loss to Seneca Valley, and suddenly the Indians were 1-3. We haven't seen that from them in a long time in their first 4 games. But then back-to-back wins. Mount Lebo, they got right. They got a couple of power play goals. Camden Martin had a big night with a hat trick. They won 6-2. And the game last week, more of a defensive battle against Central Catholic, but they cap it off with a late goal and win it 4-2. Bethel Park, meanwhile, won here against Cannon Mac 3-2 on opening night. And they lost 3-0 to Central Catholic. Martin setting sail into the offensive zone, fired it right through the crease, untouched by Tiemann, and all the way to the far wall. Alexander looking to hook it loose. Caputo joins the frame. Alexander getting in there, but Kylan Bednar tried to clear. Could not do it. Still the Indians hunt this puck. Cooley finds an avenue and clears. No icing as it's off a Peters Township player. Anyway, continuing the early season recap for Bethel Park. They beat Cathedral Prep on the road 4-1. They wiped out Baldwin 8-2 at home. And then the 4-3 overtime loss to Upper St. Clair I mentioned prior to their 4-0 loss last week against Pine Richland. Right on net with that shot is Caputo, and Tiemann gobbles it and keeps it. Just under 9 to go in the first. No penalties, no goals. Just saves so far on the score sheet. Again, Mike Schall is the Bethel Park head man. The old Bethel Park head man. McKay is on the Peters Township staff now. Maeda wristed it, ended up in the equipment of one of the Blackhawks. Put toward the front, score! Blake Ivanchich cracks it in from the doorstep. That's where you score goals, young man. Ivanchich has his third in his 7th game as a freshman forward. And the play came from Holloran at the side of the net. He dispossessed Zach Mazzaconi, the senior defenseman, took it away, backhanded it off the outside of the goal right to the front, and Holloran found Ivanchich wide open for the goal. Even strength goal, just about midway through this first period. PT's got a lead on home ice. And Kevin Tiemann made a couple of saves to start his varsity career, but now one is behind him in his first period ever at this level. Doug Hartman gave it away behind the Peters Township cage and cleared down the ice. This is right on goal. Tiemann's got to slug it away. Will Alberg backtracking. Alberg, tall forward, looks into the middle. Has his man in Hartman. Turning shot from the slot by Velaceris, or pardon, that's Cooley rather. That missed the target to the right. Bouncing up into the air, gloved forward by Joseph De Pasquale. Would have been a hand pass, but Peters Township touches it first after that. So that wipes it out. Drop pass from Alexander to Fisher, and his wrister never got through, blocked right in front. Perhaps off a stick. Back down the other way we go, eventually. Turned up ice, and Caden Bush on the handoff to De Pasquale, turned it over. Ivanchich to the front, Alexander backhand. I think he was stopped by Tiemann. Point blank range. Didn't hear a post. Wateska shooting redirected. Glove save by Tiemann. Off the tip from Drew Alexander. 2 good chances in the span of about 5, maybe 10 seconds. But the Blackhawks still down just 1 as their young goaltender comes through for them here. Here's a look at the Wateska shot and a beautiful redirect. Right on line. Would have gone in. The goaltender wasn't as sharp as he was. To the red line. Bang back forward by Joey Wateska. Wateska looks on as Troy Jones overlaps. Comes all the way out by his point. Shoots below the goal line. Trying to get something going, or at least keep the puck pinned deep. Wateska one hand on his stick. Didn't get a lot on that. It was an attempted swat across the blue line, so PT's got to go on the dump and chase now. We're in our 4th period of action in tonight's doubleheader. Home team didn't do so well in game one with NA prevailing 4-0 against Cannon Mac. North Allegheny looks strong as all get out again. Cooley curls back, finds his man Velaceris, long distance shot. Thomas, no trouble with that. But it's Cooley to the corner. Players come together. Cooley has it, nearly turned it on net. That was off a Peters Township leg. And here come the Indians back. Jones, his backhand pass, blocked down. Kylan Bednar got in the way of that. Down the ice it goes, icing against the Blackhawks. Well, the standings now, as they stand, pardon the redundancy, North Allegheny with a 6-1 record, 12 points. Seneca Valley, Upper St. Clair, Pine Richland, Mount Lebo, and Central Catholic all tied with 8 points. That leaves Bethel Park with 7 points. They're just 5 back of the division or league lead, if you will. Rister goes wide from the point by Fisher, bidding for another goal. Maeda steps up, his pass across, handled by Matthew Scouvert, his first touch of the puck tonight. Out high, Fisher whips it on goal, and I think Tiemann got a piece of that. But anyway, Bethel Park just 5 behind the division leader, and they're in 7th place. That's rough, even this early on. Fisher pursues his own puck in behind the goal. Scouvert bounces off a man, he has it. The dish out to Maeda, changes the angle, off to Fisher, another whip shot, another save by Tiemann. And the rebound hops over Scouvert's blade on this near side post. Fisher whacks at it, deflected it ahead. Spinning around was Kylan Jones, lost control. Scouvert, he's got Palmieri going to the goal off the bench, but Scouvert was dropped by a strong check. But the Indians keep possession. Maeda pinching in, he just barely couldn't keep that alive as it's backhanded ahead by Doug Hartman. Another icing against Bethel Park. The Blackhawks content to just get a face-off here with 4 minutes to go before the first break. Bethel Park in their black and orange, really football-style helmets with the stripe down the middle. Not to say it's only football that has that look, but it's more a hallmark of that sport than this one. Although you go to some major colleges, D1, NCAA, your Michigans, your Michigan States, your Penn States, they do wear the football-style helmets. In Penn State and Michigan's case, literally the football-style helmets. Same ones their football team wears, just with a hockey cage on the front instead of the face masks of football. Back for this, Gajtka, number 78 in white. Clears it up off the wall, and out it goes with some help from his friends. Jeremy Poon, got a stick on that. I've been doing this long enough for Peters that now I get older brothers and older cousins confused with their younger versions, their younger counterparts on the current team. Majernik had the first chance for Bethel Park, bounces a pass, deflected out by the line. Mazzaconi couldn't control, neither could Velaceris. Puck stays in the PT end though. And banged out by Gajtka. Cross-ring pass, Alexander couldn't take it behind him. Cooley turns up ice quickly. Ethan Cooley with a head of steam, but puck was poked off his stick. Gajtka and Alexander pursue to the corner. Alexander couldn't get it by Jack Hartman at the line. So Bethel Park finding its legs late in this first. Down 1-0 on the Blake Ivanchich goal. One more time in Gajtka's corner. He's got Maeda, and he feeds it to him on the D-to-D pass from their own end. Maeda nearly coughed it up, did cough it up. Tierney after it at the half wall. Wristing, save made by Thomas, and the rebound scooped up and cleared out of danger eventually here by Martin. Actually, he's just going to keep it and backhand it out to the red line. Martin tried to keep it going north, but that was broken up by Tierney. Tierney gave it away to Maeda. His backhand up the far side wall with 90 seconds to go in the period. Hartman to the near wing. And shot in by Tierney. Maeda's pass to Caputo. Coming off his first 2 goals of the year, but the puck drifted off his stick. Fisher will go back for it, but he won't need to. That's icing again against the Blackhawks. Shots on goal at last check were 5-2 Peters Township. That's what we still have here right now. Feels about right. The goaltenders haven't been horribly tested so far on either side. Tiemann more than Thomas, though. Kevin Tiemann making his varsity debut. So Riley Gusky has a seat for the first time all year. I mean, literally, he's played every minute of every game coming in. Fisher down the boards. Holloran looking toward the front. It's off a couple of skates and right to a Blackhawk. That's Rylan Jones. Bounce wide of the goal. Thomas wanted to keep it. No, he'll keep it moving instead. Fisher off the far side boards. Kicked ahead by Holloran. Holloran gets it right back down the wing. Got an opportunity here. Holloran put it in front of Ivancic. Scores again. It's the same combination. 24-22. Sophomore to freshman. 2-0 PT with 37 seconds left in the first. And what glorious patience to wait for the defenseman Mason Devitt Reeder to go down on his backside to try to block that maybe shot, maybe pass that was coming from Holloran. Instead, Holloran held it, got around the fallen defenseman before he fed it in front, and Ivancic was wide open. That one was easier than the first. So it becomes a 2-on-1 down low, and PT takes advantage. Another look here, and Tiemann waves the glove at a wide shot. Witeska knocks it around the wall. Here's Jones. He's stripped, though. Down to the final 15 seconds, trying to go wide. Hartman. Doug Hartman, number 6 in black, to the corner. Backhands a soft one up to De Pasquale at the point. Hartman, center point, off the skate of Cooley. Down to 2 seconds. A desperate backhand toward the slot by Alborg is gloved down and controlled by Peters Township as time runs out in the first period. 2 goals by Ivancic. He's got 4 on the year as a freshman. And both set up primary helpers by Brady Holloran, his sophomore line mate. 2-zip PT after 17. Back in just a minute on 10 Band TV.
Affordable self-care from professional massage therapists and estheticians. It's what we do. Massage Envy, where better begins.
Second period time from Printscape. PT up 2-0. Bethel Park has now given up the last 7 goals in their games, spanning over the past 3 games, going back to that overtime loss to Upper St. Clair. Kyle Thomas pounces on the puck at the side of his net, which you see on your screen is now at the right of your device screen. PT attacking the goal down to our left. Bethel Park tied that game against Upper St. Clair 2 weeks ago in the final minute, forcing overtime, but then the Panthers scored the winner, and then last week, Bethel Park allowed all 4 goals in that game, 4-0 loss to Pine Richland. Snapshot off of Tiemann, bouncing around. Jones again, or pardon, that's Caputo, 88. Caputo and Jones, similar frames, they both shoot left-handed. Jones is at a few more points at this level. This is another icing against Bethel Park. But as I was saying, that is now, actually that's 7 goals in a row, pardon me, against Bethel Park. They've been outscored 7-0 since tying the game late against Upper St. Clair 2 weeks ago. You'll have these ebbs and flows over the course of a season, won't you? Right now it's an ebb for the guys in black tonight. And for PT, it's a flow for sure. They are entering their flow state, trying to make it 3 wins in a row. They had not won 2 games in a row this season until last week. Still early, of course, but Cooley backhand, booted out by Thomas. Rebound was still available and swung off the glass. Down it goes, no icing. This will stop short of the goal line. De Pasquale burrowing in, dispossessed. But now right back out to the point. Blast, hammers off the wood in this near corner. Scoobert bumped into a Blackhawk, but Bethel Park has it. And Hartman, shot from distance, easily handled by Kyle Thomas, the senior goalie. Got his name on the Penguins Cup last year. Well, I don't know if they actually put names on the Penguins Cup, metaphorically speaking, at least. In fact, I highly doubt they put actual names on the Penguins Cup, but you know what I mean. He was incredible in the playoffs. Last year was Kyle Thomas. Really, the offense was great, too. A dominant performance by Peters Township in the Penn's Cup tournament last year. 3 wins. Getting it done. I've been told by my good friend Todd Kazarowski the names actually do go on the cup. This bouncing shot from Lazaro ends up somehow corralled by Tiemann. I don't know how he saw that one. Maybe he didn't see it. He just felt it. So that's nice to know. I've never actually got my hands on the thing, so I don't know what it looks like. Up close, at least. Todd reminds me his son, Caden Kazarowski, has his name on the Penguins Cup and the state championship trophy as well. Came a couple of years ago. PT has won back-to-back Penguins Cups. Thanks to our friends at Kevin's Pharmacy for sponsoring tonight's game broadcast. They're one of the season sponsors for Peters Township. Vincent Klingensmith tried to direct this ahead. He was the one who tied that game against Upper St. Clair. So he has the last Bethel Park goal. It's been a couple of weeks. Bethel Park now even on the season, 18 goals for, 18 against. And there is number 18, Joseph De Pasquale. On the handoff move to Carner. Anthony Carner stick handling through all the way in. And Kyle Thomas melts it down somehow. That was a great chance for Carner to notch his 3rd goal of the year, but not to be for him. A slight tie-up after the whistle. A couple of players come together. De Pasquale for Bethel Park, among others. So some dangles for Carner, but BP stays off the score sheet. Cooley, quick forehand face-off win. I feel like the forehand face-off win is definitely in vogue across all levels of hockey as the puck skips out of play off the rink on the far side. It felt like 20, 25 years ago when I was first starting to watch this sport, it was almost all backhand stuff. And there's another forehand attempt at a face-off win by Cooley. The Blackhawks will control it at center ice, not without some moments of anxiety, but pass goes under the stick of Will Alborg. He couldn't handle it. Oh boy, one of the Blackhawks doesn't have a stick. That's Mason Devitt Reeder. He's right in front of the net now as Jones shoots, and Tiemann bails out his teammate with a blocker save. That's the last place you want a guy without a stick, is right in front of the net. And he's on an island right now. He might as well just try to come to the bench, but I guess long change in the second period, tough to justify it. One of the Blackhawks ended up on his wallet back there and cracked out of the zone by Alberg. The chase is on. Hartman, Doug Hartman, and he's run off by Schleeper. Good play. On comes Maeda, drop pass. And now Schleeper has to retreat as it's turned over. Jacob Schleeper will take this, playing his 4th game this season out of 7. On to Alexander, and he wanted to go far side, top shelf, but he just missed with that wrist shot. And we go up and down a little bit now. The game opens up. Martin back to cover the defense spot here on this near wing. Jones does a button hook, and what's this? A whistle and a penalty. Our first penalty of this game has been called. And it goes against Peters Township. Maeda to the box with 12:42 to go in the second. Referee asking for Bethel Park to make the change a little more quickly. He's still motioning toward the Bethel Park bench where Mike Shaw is running things. The Blackhawks win the draw. Carner, far side, turned over. Alexander bidding for a shorty, and he just missed on the pull-up move. Peters Township has scored 2 shorthanded goals, one by Martin, one by Jones. Bethel Park has allowed 2. They've scored 4 times on 26 power play opportunities for a 15% success rate. Camden Martin back, turning the goal. Thought about passing it in front. Now he does. Alexander scores! Shorthanded goal. If at first you don't succeed, Drew Alexander tries and tries again, and he buries the backhand upstairs against Kevin Tiemann for a 3-0 Indians advantage. Alexander's 5th of the year. And Martin, well, I bet he couldn't believe that Alexander was still open. The Blackhawks just abandoned him right in front of their goalie with Martin in full possession of the puck at the side of the net. Camden Martin earns assist number 6 and point number 9 on the season. And the Indians are in great shape now. They get their 3rd shorthanded goal of the season here in game number 7, and trying to win their 3rd in a row to get above 500 for the first time since they won the opener. Long way to go. Bethel Park will have a lot to say about that, but at 3-0, it's going about as well as you could hope if you're wearing white and red tonight. Caputo breaks it up at the blue line. Soft flip ahead, but he was stripped of the puck by Joseph De Pasquale. I was going to say, this Peters Township penalty kill, pretty good on the year. They've allowed just 2 goals on 13 opportunities against. This is the 14th chance, and they have just 25 seconds to kill on this one, and they've already scored themselves during this shorthanded situation. 11 to go in the second, and the Blackhawks discombobulated. They'll go back for it again. Mason Devitt Reeder, at least this time he's got a stick, and he makes a pass on to Alborg. I like the way Alborg skates. He shoots this, and it's deflected into the screen over the high glass behind the Peters Township net. So the Blackhawks have to gather themselves. They're about to misfire on this power play unless something crazy happens. They're being outshot 15-6 at the moment. And Maeda's tripping penalty is over. He's out. The Indians are back to full strength. Scoovert's deflected shot ends up behind the goal, gets it right back. Does number 52, Matthew Scoovert, but his pass intercepted. Hartman on the take back for Bethel Park. 1-on-4 though, and he's bodied off the biscuit. Out it goes. But Hartman gets it back on the handoff from Tierney. Hartman shot, never got through. Tierney, oh, he's denied on a quick kick move by Kyle Thomas. Keeps it 3-0. Thomas hasn't faced a lot in this game, but right there, that was about as good of a chance as you're going to see, especially off kind of a broken play. Thomas, just his 7th save of this game. His counterpart, Kevin Tieman's got a few more. Here's a pull-up chance for Jones. Save, rebound. Oh my, Tiemann made a great stop to get over, and Jones tries to power it in from a sharp angle. Jones couldn't knock this down. It was nearly that line again with Ivancic and Holleran. They generated the first 2 goals, almost made it a 3rd goal. Owen Lazaro holds at the line. Saucered into the corner. Holleran, Ivancic on hat-trick watch. Tries to take this puck, but it's knocked by him, by Majernik. Fisher flips it up. Past Velaceris for Bethel Park. And cleared right back in by Peters Township. Tiemann knocks it away from the side of his net. But it's right back in the possession of the Indians. Wateska drives it down the wall, and Joey Wateska gets it back out here at the left point. Too hard with that pass, though. It banged off the body of Holleran and all the way down. See if Troy Jones has anything left in the tank here. Big man gets his feet moving. Wateska shoots in. Jones cutting it off at the half wall, running into Caden Bush. The Bethel Park captain, Ethan Cooley, pinned by Alexander, who has the most recent Peters Township goal. He scored it shorthanded during Luca Maeda's tripping minor just a few minutes ago. It's made it a 3-0 game, and Martin will just simply back out of his own zone with it. Something you're more apt to do when you're ahead by 3 than trailing by 3. Lazaro toward the goal, deflected by Alexander, I think, and just wide. Got too much of it, if that's such a thing. Klingensmith cleared it right to Lazaro, and his wrister is off the stick of Tiemann, and now Tiemann holds this puck at the side of his net with 7.5 to go before the long break. Bethel Park has conceded 8 goals in a row. Tiemann has faced 17 shots. He's stopped 14 of them. You can do the math, though. It's now 8 shots for Bethel Park on goal against Tiemann. Alexander muscles in to take this. Dropped it back for a one-time shot. Didn't get through. Still loose. Maeda was the one who had that first shot. Caused the havoc. Alexander again. That's blocked out high by Kylan Bednar. But the Blackhawks under siege, and they drive it up and out. And here they come. Carner stripped from behind by Camden Martin. Outstanding defense from the Indians' top point man. Alexander carries it wide. Alexander trying to go short side. He put it into the triangle, so to speak, of the defenseman he was working against. What that means is between the skates and the stick, it's in that spot where you can't quite get to. It handcuffs you close to your body. Schleeper shooting deflected. Score! Caputo with a drive-by in the slot. He tipped the Schleeper shot behind Tiemann. 4-0 Peters Township. 6:39 to go in the second. And for Kevin Tiemann, that appeared to be in slow motion, excruciatingly so. After the tip by Caputo, hopped off the cuff of his glove and went in. Caputo, 3 goals in 2 games. And Jacob Schleeper has his first point of the season. Timeout has been called by Bethel Park. The Blackhawks looking for any way to grab hold of this game again. I'm Matt Gajtka. This is 10 Band TV's production of PIHL hockey. This is the second of 2 games for us on this Tuesday night from Printscape and South Point. I remind you to take a look not just at the bottom ticker, which has facts and figures and standings and stats from the PIHL, also Players of the Month scrolling by as we celebrate 25 years of the PIHL. We also have things like the Shop Amazon pre-Black Friday deals. QR code, that's at the bottom of the screen there. We've got plenty of great deals available for you if you just scan the QR codes with your mobile device as they fly on by here at the bottom of the screen. There you see tonight's game sponsor, Kevin's Pharmacy. Also, I should know you can find 10 Band TV not just on the web, not just on your mobile device that way, but also on Amazon Fire TV and on Roku. We're making it easy for you to keep tabs on the PIHL as we wait out this Bethel Park timeout. There you see Rick Tingle in the newsboy cap, if you will. Guy in the black jacket on the right of your screen. Well, middle of your screen, I suppose. On the right as far as the coaches go that you see there. Rick, one of the stalwarts in the PIHL over the years. I think he's having a snack or something there. Share with the group, Rick. Come on. And we're back to live action. After the timeout, after the goal, Alborg snapped a shot, blocked at the point of attack. 2 in the first, 2 in the second for Peters Township. They're trying to put it in cruise control. Here's Scoover cruising by, and Tiemann makes that save with the glove right next to his hip. Take a look at that replay, courtesy of our production crew on hand tonight. Whew, look at that little move from Scoovert to fly right by. Appeared to be Eric Husa. He has his jersey tucked in, couldn't quite make out that second number. If it was 12, it was Husa. Fisher shooting on a rolling puck. Didn't get through. DePasquale backhanding up the far side boards, and out come the Blackhawks. Bednar, Kylan Bednar shooting, redirected, save made anyway. That was off the stick of Wateska. Klein rips it cross rink. Shot goes behind the net. Off the chance for Scoovert. Here's Kleinen again. He's got Palmieri in front. Palmieri fishing for it in a couple of Blackhawk skates. But it's lifted off the partition and out it goes. High off the glass. Bednar one more time. And this time he misses on the unblocked shot. Palmieri looking to jam it out. Wins the physical battle and slides it into safe ice on this near wing. Palmieri takes over at center. Outmuscles Velaceris. Bethel Park in big trouble on the road here tonight. Down 4-0. Peters Township continuing its recent stretch of good play. And good offense as well. They've now put 14 goals on the board in their past 3 games, and this one isn't anywhere near being done. That after scoring just 6 goals in its first 4 games, which was extremely out of character for Peters Township in the Rick Tingle era. Mazzaconi on a cross. Tough pass to take, but give credit to Devitt Reeder. He made it, or he received it and then made the pass from there before he was bumped hard by Brady Holleran. Couldn't have been easy to hang in there, but he did. Jones reaching for this. gets a second chance to take this puck and filters it toward the middle. Holloran, who has 2 primary assists tonight, handing off. Lazaro ripping and missing. Lazaro fine skating, good confidence to pull that away from his teammate even. Make a headman pass, but that one was off target. 3:51 to go. We've got icing against the Indians. Goals in this game from Ivancic, 2 in the first period. Then Alexander shorthanded in the second. And recently Caputo, Charlie Caputo, off the deflection of Jacob Schleeper's point shot, which gave Schleeper his first point of the year. Caputo has 3 goals in 2 games. The 2 assists tonight are the first 2 of Holloran's varsity career as well. Thomas holds this off the draw. We'll do it again from that same dot. Ivancic, 2 more goals. He came in with 2 in his first 6 games. He has doubled that total. De Pasquale, the backhand, pitchfork play into the Peters Township zone. Third ahead. The Indians come 3-man strong to the offensive blue line. Jones dragging it behind himself, actually through his own legs. Now turned over. Ivancic for the hat trick off the glove of Tiemann. And scooped up by the Blackhawks. Bednar. One more time down this right wing. Kylan Bednar, nifty backhand, but Thomas equal to that task with 3:11 to go in the second. A hearty thank you to our friends at Bubba's Burgers across the way for streaming our broadcasts in their restaurant. And when I say across the way, I mean literally across the way, across the rink. And the Blackhawks are on the board. Doug Hartman takes it from Ethan Cooley. Cooley went straight forward off the draw. Fantastic face-off play. We've seen it before in this sport. Never ceases to dazzle. Cooley, watch this. Taps it through Alexander's legs, takes the puck, and right to the doorstep. That's where Hartman had the easiest finish of his season, his 5th of the year to lead the Blackhawks in scoring, or at least goal scoring. He ties Carner for the team points lead with that one. So BP makes it 4-1. They have life before the long intermission. Ethan Cooley with 7 points now, by the way. That's his 5th assist. He has the solo lead for the Blackhawks there. Camden Martin took the wrist shot after the clean face-off win. That caromed off of a black jersey to the near side boards. Martin then knocked down Tierney with a check. Alexander picking it free, wanted to go to the backside of the play to Caputo, but broken up. Peters Township now having to be wary of the inevitable goal surge that usually comes. Cooley, high riser, save made, rebound Thomas. He's got that one again from Cooley, who is giving all that he has late in this second period. He's got an assist, and the Blackhawks captain nearly had a goal there, following up his own first chance. Thomas held his ground. Hartman from Cooley. That's how the goal reads for Bethel Park at 13:52 of the second period. They score on their 14th shot against Kyle Thomas. Back out near the line. Klein right on goal with that. And what's the stoppage here? A high stick on the puck or a high sticking penalty? That's all I see is the high sticking signal. And I think it's just the infraction, not the penalty. But the faceoff comes back in Peters Township territory, so it must have been one of the Indians who touched it with a high stick. Scouvert wrenches back the faceoff win. And we've got a penalty coming up. Hooking the call against Joey Wateska. That sends the Blackhawks to the power play for the second time in this period. And do the Blackhawks have a scent of momentum? Well, they're better off than they were a few minutes ago. They've got a goal. Now they'll try to go to work on this power play. They didn't get much on their first chance. In fact, they allowed a goal. Drew Alexander scored to make it 3-0 during that 2-minute interval. Mazzacone headmans it. Cross rink on to Cooley. He's got some room. Does Ethan Cooley set up the goal earlier by Hartman? Here's Hartman again, number 6 in black. Fisher drives it around, but not out. Palmieri tries to clear. He couldn't get it by Mazzacone at the line. One more time for Palmieri, and Zach Palmieri does clear on the second chance. Getting down to 1 minute to go in the second period. The penalty was taken with exactly 2 minutes left, that is. So that penalty clock and the game clock are the same. They're identical right now. Cooley protects the puck well. Handing off to the dot. And Carner. Back to Cooley. He's got Mazzacone at the point. Instead, Cooley shoots. Glove down by Maeda. It's a 3-on-2 rush for the Indians if they hurry. Up ahead, it's Martin shorthanded. And he fired it off the glass. Nearly 2 shorties in the same period for Peters Township. That would have been a killer for Bethel Park, but they avoid that particular shot from going in behind their goaltender, their sophomore goalie, Kevin Tiemann. And an icing for Bethel Park. Blackhawks appear rattled now at the end of this frame. They're going to have to face it off in their own zone with 23 seconds to go in the period and in the power play. By the way, if you're curious, the Penguins have defeated the Blue Jackets 5-3 tonight in Columbus. Sidney Crosby gets the hat trick, his first of the season. And the Pens have won, 5 in a row now? Back above 500. 8-6. Sent toward the middle. Rylan Jones, final seconds of this period. Looks like the Indians are going to escape this period with a 3-goal lead. Bounce down the ice, but they're still shorthanded until the end of the frame. The horn sounds, ending the second stanza. Peters Township scores twice. Bethel Park gets one back. Doug Hartman from Ethan Cooley. But prior to that, Drew Alexander and Charlie Caputo had scored to build a 4-0 lead for Peters Township. It's a 3-goal bulge going into the third. And we'll see how the 6-time Penguins Cup champs handle it as they come back for the third period in just a few minutes on 10-Band TV. Stay with us, why don't you? Tonight's game brought to you by Kevin's Pharmacy on the PIHL channel.
Affordable self-care from professional massage therapists and estheticians. It's what we do. Massage Envy, where better begins.
Kyle Palmieri, longtime NHL forward. Zach Palmieri, a senior forward for Peters Township. Here's Caputo, dropping it off. Camden Martin hit the iron. Possibly the top of the post, maybe where the post and the crossbar come. Wristed it, ended up in the equipment of one of the Blackhawks. Put toward the front, score! Blake Ivanchich cracks it in from the doorstep. That's where you score goals, young man. Ivanchich turned up ice, and Caden Bush on the handoff to DePasquale, turned it over. Ivanchich to the front, Alexander backhand. I think he was stopped by Tiemann. Point blank range. Backhand, I think he was stopped by Tiemann. Point blank range. Didn't hear a post. Wateska shooting redirected, glove save by Tiemann. Off the tip from Drew Alexander. Two good chances in the span. Kicked ahead by Holleran. Holleran gets it right back down the wing. Got an opportunity here. Holleran put it in front of Ivanchich. Scores again. It's the same combination. 24-22. Sophomore to freshman. Pass goes under the stick of Will Alborg. He couldn't handle it. Oh boy, one of the Blackhawks doesn't have a stick. That's Mason Devitt Reeder. He's right in front of the net now as Jones shoots, and Tiemann bails out his teammate with the blocker save. That's the last place you want. One of the Blackhawks ended up on his wallet back there. And cracked out of the zone by Alberg. Good chase is on. Hartman, Doug Hartman, and he's run off by Schleeper. Good play. On comes all is running things. The Blackhawks win the draw. Corner, far side, turned over. Alexander bidding for a shorty, and he just missed on the pull-up move. Peters Township has 18% success rate. Camden Martin back, turning the goal. Thought about passing it in front, now he does. Alexander, score! Short-handed goal. If at first you don't succeed, Drew Alexander tried. Alexander muscles in to take this, dropped it back for a one-time shot, didn't get through, still loose. Maeda was the one who had that first shot, caused the havoc. Alexander again, that's blocked out high. Stripped from behind by Camden Martin. Outstanding defense from the Indians' top point man. Alexander carries it wide. Alexander trying to go short side. He put it into the triangle, so to speak, of the defense. It handcuffs you close to your body. Schleeper shooting deflected. Score! Caputo with a drive-by in the slot. He tipped the Schleeper shot behind Tiemann. 4-0 attack. 2 in the first, 2 in the second for Peters Township. They're trying to put it in cruise control. Here's Scuba cruising by, and Tiemann makes that save with the glove right next to his hip of Tiemann. And scooped up by the Blackhawks. Bednar, one more time down on this right wing. Kylan Bednar, nifty backhand, but Thomas equal to that task with 3:11 to go in the second. It's the way across the rink. And the Blackhawks are on the board. Doug Hartman takes it from Ethan Cooley. Cooley went straight forward off.
affordable self-care from professional massage therapists and estheticians. It's what we do. Massage Envy, where better begins.
Discover the heart of Pittsburgh at Mount Washington Shop and Save. At Mount Washington Shop and Save, we're more than just a grocery store. We're your neighborhood destination. From the freshest local produce to gourmet delights, we've got it all under one roof. Experience convenience, quality, and savings, all in the heart of Mount Washington. Mount Washington Shop and Save, where Pittsburgh shops with a view. Shop smart, shop local, shop Mount Washington Shop and Save.
2 jumbo iced caramel drizzle peppermint mochaccino.
Extra caramel.
That's us.
I'd love to join you guys at the beach house for a few days, but between my job and the kids, it's just not that easy. Not to mention, how am I squeezing into a bikini after this winter?
Keeping off extra pounds while balancing a family and a career can be tough. And 500-calorie coffees won't get you there either. Weight Loss Direct provides a 24/7 support and one-on-one coaching to keep you on track and guarantee you success and health. Start your journey at weightlossdirect.com.
Are you ready to take your game to the next level? Hey, I'm Tyler Kennedy, 2009 Pittsburgh Penguins Stanley Cup champion here, and trust me, I know what it's like to play to the max. That's why I recommend the patented Heads Up sports training system, improving reaction time and your spatial awareness with this dynamic training system all at your fingertips. Train smarter with endless applications for any position. It's that simple. HeadsUpSTS.com. Play with your head up.
All across the United States, each state has what's called an immunization information system. Immunization information systems, or IIS, are confidential, population-based, computerized databases that record all immunization doses administered by participating providers to persons residing within a given geopolitical area. In the United States, every vaccination registry is a bit different, which can become daunting and confusing. Enter PubHub. PubHub solves this issue by giving its providers the ability to connect and communicate to the state registry with one connection and one data format. For example, if a patient has received the COVID-19 vaccine, PubHub allows the provider to see if the patient has already received the vaccine, keeping everything safe and organized for everyone.
2 jumbo iced caramel drizzle peppermint mochaccino.
Extra caramel.
That's us.
I'd love to join you guys at the beach house for a few days, but between my job and the kids, it's just not that easy. Not to mention, how am I squeezing into a bikini after this winter?
Keeping off extra pounds while balancing a family and a career can be tough. And 500-calorie coffees won't get you there either. Weight Loss Direct provides a 24/7 support and one-on-one coaching to keep you on track and guarantee you success and health. Start your journey at weightlossdirect.com.
Preparing for the third period, Peters Township leads Bethel Park 4-1 tonight in the second game of our high school hockey night live doubleheader on the PIHL channel here on 10 Band TV. I'm your host and your play-by-play man, Matt Gajtka. And Todd Kazarowski and his crew are on staff at Printscape Arena at South Point. There you see Peters Township itching to get back on the ice, and why wouldn't they be with a 3-goal lead? Yes, they gave up one just before the end of the second period. Well, 3 minutes to go in the second period was when Bethel Park broke the ice, and the Blackhawks do have some hope going into this third period, but Peters Township appears to have turned the corner this season, and they've gotten it going in the proper direction. With a win here tonight, they would move to 4-3, and they would jump by Bethel Park, assuming they don't give Bethel Park a point. If this game doesn't go to overtime and PT wins, they will vault past Bethel Park for 7th place. Actually, no, they'll end up in a tie for second, excuse me, because there is that 6-way or 5-way tie for second place. So PT will move to 8 points in the standings, and that would put them level with just about everybody in Class AAA, it seems like. That would put them level with Seneca Valley, Upper St. Clair, Pine Richland, Mount Lebo, and Central Catholic. So that would be 6 teams tied with 8 points, tied in second place. Bethel Park would be in, 8th place. 3 ahead of Erie Cathedral Prep. North Allegheny, which won earlier tonight on 10 Band TV. I had the call for you on that one. They prevailed against Cannon Mac 4-0. North Allegheny now has 12 points after that win. They're 4 clear of the field. Peters Township, well, its concern is just to build some positive results, do some positive things, have a positive process. And I think the last 3 games have been quite good in both process and results. So far, they've controlled this game. They've fired now 25 shots on sophomore goalie Kevin Tiemann, making his varsity debut for Bethel Park. They've conceded only 10 shots against. Kyle Thomas has stopped 9 of those. They had a 4-0 lead. It's now 4-1. The power play is over for Bethel Park. So they're 0 for 2, and they've given up a goal while up a man. I don't want to call it a backbreaker yet because the game's not over yet for any intent or purpose. Caputo shoots in after the face-off at center ice to start this third. Peters Township trying to defend this 3-goal lead, and they get a save from Thomas off the wrist shot from Doug Hartman, well above the top of the right circle. Easy one for Thomas to get back into a groove. I always wonder about the goalies coming off the legit long intermission. Of course, at most levels, you do have intermissions to deal with. Not like it's some new concern for a high school goalie. But you play the first and second periods back-to-back, essentially, and then the long break for the third. Martin trying to tip it out, couldn't do it. He was closed off there at the point by Carner, and now Cooley joining the party. But poked away from them and right to Caven Fisher. He sent it right between a couple of teammates, but it skidded down the ice. No icing called. Ruled that Bethel Park could have played it, or did play it. It was off a deflection. Alexander whipping a shot, and he missed. Off the setup from Camden Martin. One more goal might do it for Peters Township, especially here in the early going in this third. Picked off at center ice. High rising shot by Mazzaconi. Missed everything. I don't think Thomas got a blocker hand on it. Kylan Bednar to the side of the goal into the corner. Will Alborg for Bethel Park. Had it flipped over his head, and out it goes to center ice again. 1.5 minutes into the third. Pretty uneventful to start this third period. Martin caught a stick under his armpit, and that'll be a penalty against Bethel Park. I think he felt it there under his arm, and then he clamped down on it just to make sure the referee saw the call or saw the penalty. And Bethel Park is going short for the first time tonight, and wow, talk about frustration from Kylan Bednar. Fires off his gloves after he rifles his stick into the penalty box. Hope the attendant covered up in there. Hooking the call, and I could understand his frustration. He might have felt like he got baited into that one. Or at the very least, Martin simulated it enough. But the stick was in Martin's midsection. Can't dispute that. Maeda across to Holloran. Now over for a shot from the point that bounced wide off Wateska's blade. Wateska scored the power play goal last week for Peters Township against Central Catholic on a point shot. Actually, very similar situation to this one. It was early in the third, and it appeared to put it away, but Central Catholic had a little rally in it. cut it to a 1-goal lead with a couple minutes to go. Maeda skated himself into trouble there. Cooley closed down the space. So Ethan Cooley looks on. He's the top of the forechecking spear here. Gets a poke check on Ivancic, who has 2 goals in this game. A bit of a lethargic start to this power play for Peters Township. Sloppy in their own zone, but Maeda reaches out to keep this right on the blue line. And Halloran with a snapshot that deflected off the glass. Alexander pulls it loose. Drew Alexander picks up the pace for PT. 40 seconds remaining on the power play. Their first of the night. Gajtka shot, glove save, and held by Kevin Tiemann. And a referee checking Tiemann's mask. I don't know what that was all about. Looking at the straps, making sure that all the snaps were fastened, I suppose. I don't know why. Didn't look like there was any reason to check it necessarily. Caputo controls the draw back to Martin. He rotates it over, point to point. It goes to Fisher. Troy Jones from the half wall. Confronted there by Carner. So the Indians move it to center point. Fisher right back over to Jones. Assesses his options from the face-off circle. Flubbed the pass, but it still went to Caputo anyway, below the goal line. Hard off the kick plate on the far side, right back to Caputo. Wristing, deflected. Just 3 seconds to go on this power play. Bethel Park back to full strength. Out of the box comes Kylan Bednar. PT's 0 for 1 tonight on the advantage. Caputo clearing it right through the slot, and Martin, he was upended, wanted a penalty there too. Didn't get it. First shot from Gajtka was blocked by a couple of Blackhawks sliding down. Now Fisher bouncing it toward the slot. Jones on the broken play. PT still in possession. Fisher elects to shoot wide intentionally. Loud bounce off the end boards right in front, but the Blackhawks take care of it, and they clear. Power play is over, so that's an icing call. Not much to show for the Peters Township power play, but when you're ahead by 3 and you kill 2 minutes, that's considered a win too. They had some issues getting out of their own end at the start of that chance, you'll recall. Poon behind the net for PT. Couldn't make a play. He was confronted there with a stick check. Out come the Blackhawks. They just need one more to start to really believe here, you'd think. Tierney stapled to the end boards. Pass up the near wing under Palmieri's blade. And this is icing against Peters Township. We'll go back the other way with Eric Husa winning the race just to be safe. Told you the Pens won tonight, 5-3. NHL season about a month in. We're about a month and a half into the high school hockey season, which stretches on 5 months in Western PA. 20 games over 5 months. When you put it that way, it doesn't sound like a ton, I guess. In front of the net, Klingensmith couldn't hack it on frame. He pursues, but it's slipped past him and his teammates. Palmieri skating after it, but he's not going to get there before the goal line. It's another icing call against Peters Township. 2 in about a half minute. But I guess if you say 4 a month, that's 1 every week. It's interesting compared to other states like, say, Michigan, where it's a varsity sport. It's a more compact season. Teams play about 25 games in 3 months. Maybe 3.5 months. Shot taken, and Thomas made the save from the right face-off circle. That was Carner. Lifted off the glass, out it goes, rolling on the fresh ice. This will not be an icing call as DePasquale was forced to play it. And number 18 in black just gave it right back to the white-shirted Peters Township Indians. Jacob Schleiper in some trouble, made a play against the grain, and on with it, Scouvert over the line. Matthew Scouvert shooting, and it's blocked by Mason Devitt Reeder. Scouvert gets his own rebound and swings it right through the top of the blue paint. Nobody home for PT. Maeda looking to keep at the line and does. Scouvert helps him out. He forces it below the net. Landon Klein, number 19 in white, turning this way in that. On the feed off, drop back toward the point. On the pass by Repepi. Strong puck protection from Luca Maeda, shooting. Didn't get through, blocked out high. Zach Mazzaconi, that is, for Bethel Park, tried to clear this by an Indian, couldn't do it. Scouvert hooks it back to the point. Maeda faked one way, went the other. Luca Maeda trying to bank it in off the netminder, and Tiemann holds his ground with 10:25 left, getting the stoppage in play, too. Bethel Park doesn't wear names on the back of its jerseys, but with numbers that readable, whatever. I want to commend every team who played tonight on the surface for having very readable numbers on their backs. North Allegheny, Bethel Park, both white on black on the back. Doesn't get any easier than that. I guess maybe black on white too. The Max in contrast. That's what we're looking for here in the play-by-play position. Hartman snapping it wide of the goal. Wanted to bounce it back in front. And that was fended off by Thomas again. Jones skating into some danger, but made a poised play. Lifted ahead by the Indians right in front of the goal. Ivancic, again, a hat-trick bid, bouncing around. And Ivancic got a shot away after the deflection fell to the ice, but by that time, the net had been knocked off its moorings. And we'll see it again here on the replay. Gotta love it. Ivancic's initial shot blocked by Jude Kozak, who went sprawling out. I think I've called Jude Kozak's name. Senior defenseman. Previous to that play, that is. Caputo trying to hack it in. Tiemann keeps it out again. 9.5 left in regulation. Clean win for PT. Rifled wide by Martin. Out by the blue line. Back in front for Martin. And his shot blocked by Rylan Jones. I got to hand it to Bethel Park. They're blocking a lot of shots in this third period. Protecting their goaltender. Deflection chance for Alexander. Same spot he had in the first period and the same result. A save for Tiemann. This time, Caven Fisher sent it his way from the point. And it was on the backhand. Speaking of the Pens win, Sidney Crosby scored the winner off a side of the net deflection with his forehand. You've seen it before, the little chop action for Sid. More ways than one to score a goal in this game. Picked off at the blue line. Alexander driving in, trying to pass it across the crease, and it was blocked, and he couldn't get back his own carom there. Alborg on the shoot-in. Big 13 in black now chasing after this puck on the near side. Get some help there from De Pasquale, who pinched in, but to no avail. Bethel Park's got to go back for it halfway through this third. No scoring in this third period. Just fine for Peters Township, of course. Cross-rink Corbel. Austin Corbel relays it up to Martin, perhaps. Martin wins it back. He's got Lazaro on this near wing side. But Martin has to control it again. Corbel flips a bouncing puck up off the white wall. One more time for Austin Corbel. And the senior takes care of it, dispatching it back into Bethel Park real estate. De Pasquale turns away from the pressure of the forechecking Alexander. And the Blackhawks with a promising little rush here. Alborg couldn't get it, and neither could Bednar. Had his stick lifted, I believe, at the last second. Strong defense, scramble defense for PT, but defense nonetheless. Poonover skated it, thrown right on goal. Thomas makes the save, keeping it a 3-goal game. Bednar handing off. Alborg lost it behind him. Flipped on out to center ice. Devitt Reeder across rink and intercepted briefly, but then poked right back to Mason Devitt Reeder, number 11. Leaning in, trying to backhand. It's still loose. Devitt Reeder comes right back to him, and he spun a forehand that was offline. Back in front of the goal. Bednar fighting for space, but it pops loose to Poon. Jeremy Poon shooting off a Bethel Park body. Wanted to relay it over to Zach Palmieri. Not to be. But now we're down to 6.5 to go in the third. The Blackhawks running out of time. And they iced this puck. Sounded like the whistle was broken from the referee. But the play stops nonetheless. Coming up for Peters Township, they'll travel to the Ice Castle Arena after Thanksgiving. That's their next game. Monday, November 27th, 9 o'clock start at Baldwin at the Ice Castle. Then after that, it's right back here. They're the de facto home team in the Miners' Cup game against Cannon Mac. Strong defense back to our left. Now to our right, it's Repepe wristing on target right into the chest of Kevin Tiemann, and he hangs on to that puck. Before the holiday, Peters Township still has, the Christmas holiday, Peters Township still has 5 games, believe it or not. Only 3 here in November, capped off with that game at Baldwin, but then Cannon Mac to start December, Cathedral Prep on the road, Mount Lebo on the road, and Pine Richland at home on the 19th of December as PT will try to sweep that season series. They beat the Rams 3-2 up at Barrel in Warrendale in the opener. That was 7 weeks ago, or 6 weeks ago at this point. Repepe, 13 in white, wanted to drop it off to Scouvert, his line mate. Matthew Scouvert toward the front, headed off the pass by the Blackhawks, though. And here they come. Not much in that rush from Majernik, but Karner on a solo mission, 1v5 at the moment, looking for some help, and said he shoots it on the pull-up. Thomas got his chest in front of it. DePasquale stumbled down at center red. Still flipped it ahead. No, he didn't. He threw it out of play. With 5:19 left in the third period. Still no goals in this third. Just the one penalty given to Bethel Park. PT couldn't score on that, obviously. Just 11 total shots in this period, too, so it's been kind of quiet in that regard as well. Not just quality, but also volume of shots. PT with 4 on the board. When they've scored 4 this year, they're 2-0. Actually, when they've scored 3 this year, they're 3-0. And hoping to make it 4-0, looking likely at this point. So they're still defending pretty well as Peters Township, even though their offense didn't really get it going until these last couple of games. Holleran working hard behind his own goal line. Shoveled it out of there. Ivancic on the take, and he at least clears beyond the blue. DePasquale holds and rips right back in for Bethel Park. And what's the whistle here? Was it offside? No, it's a penalty, and it's unsportsmanlike conduct against Anthony Karner, number 20 in black. The second penalty of the period against Bethel Park. And that might have just killed whatever chance they had left at coming back in this one. Interesting. Something was said there by Karner, who isn't protesting for what it's worth. Oh no, it's unsportsmanlike, not a penalty affecting the play on the ice. It's a 10-minute unsportsmanlike. So it's 5-on-5, pardon me. So perhaps the chances are still there. They're slim for Bethel Park, but they're still there. Alborg going forward off the draw. No, he was stripped of the puck. Martin back. Martin trying to pass it to the back door. Didn't work out. Indians keep possession, though. Martin behind the goal. Back out in front. Alexander. Drew Alexander has a goal in this game. To Caputo. Indians top line going to work. Rotates it out to the line. Corbel shot. Blocked. Bethel Park feels like they've blocked 10 shots in this third period. Just nothing getting through for PT as they try to add insurance. Don't know if Bethel Park's going to pull their netminder down 3. We see it a lot more in hockey in general these days. Fisher on line with that shot through a screen. Tiemann saw it. Kevin Tiemann playing a strong goal here late in this game. Not that he wasn't playing strongly earlier. He was beaten point blank twice by Blake Ivanchich in the first period. The second one, a literal tap in. Alexander was also right in front of the net when he scored, and then Caputo with a deflection. So I can't say there's any soft goals allowed in this game by Kevin Tiemann. The Indians have earned them. Bethel Park would probably say we should defend them better as well. There's always two sides to that coin. It's sports after all. It's got to be a binary. A zero-sum game, if you will. Every positive for you is a negative for the other guy, and vice versa. I think that's what appeals to people about sports the most, though, is you can always paint it a certain way. Maybe not the most appealing part of it, but it's one of the appealing parts of the whole thing. Ethan Cooley rifles a pass cross rink. Too hard for everybody, including Hartman. Doesn't go for icing, though, as Wateska cradles behind the net. Lost it to Doug Hartman, the only goal scorer tonight for Bethel Park so far. Hits the late man, Caden Bush. Tried to push it in front, and he did, and Kyle Thomas hangs on. Final 3 minutes of tonight's action. It's our 6th period of our doubleheader broadcast. PT striking one back for the home team after North Allegheny wiped out Cannon Mac 4-0 in our opener this evening. Cannon Mac drops to 0-6. North Allegheny first place at 6-1. Peters Township minutes away from crawling into a tie for second, believe it or not. They were, what, 9th last week? And now they're about to be second due to all the congestion in the middle of the standings on 8 points. Net's off its pegs, as you see there. That's the beauty of video. I don't have to tell you everything. I can ramble on for a little bit. Referee putting the pins back in the ice. And the face-off will be at center ice just beyond the blue line. But again, you can see that. What am I even here for in the end? I don't know. Velaceris cruising in, lost control of it, trying to skate a little serpentine pattern through the middle. That's what I'm here for. Adjectives and things of that nature. Icing against Peters Township. Adjectives and verbs and nouns and adverbs and prepositions. Exclamations at times. Putting it all together for you verbally. On my end, visually, that's Todd Kazarowski and crew. On site. Snapshot from the point by Mason Devitt Reeder right into the belly pad of Thomas, who has not had the most strenuous night, but he's about to pick up win number 3 and even his personal record at 3-3, for as much as you give credence to the fact that goalies have personal records. I've never really felt that great about it. For me, a record is a team thing. Quick chance in front, and, well, there's a stop. Strong one for Thomas on Ian Majernik. Actually, no, that was Will Alborg, pardon me. 13, not 23. Final 2 minutes from Printscape. There is that man Alborg cutting in. Oh, he tried to make a pass instead of shooting. Wanted to filter it through to Bednar. Not to be for the Blackhawks tonight. Appears not to be overall. Alborg right on goal. Give him credit. Still fighting hard. Looking for something tangible to come out of this night. Fisher leads the rush back for Peters Township from his defense spot. Burrows into the corner for a bit. Ivancic in front of the goal. He's on hat-trick watch, his final shift of the game, assuredly. Can he pull it off? I've got a hint, maybe get it to Brady Holleran. He set up the first 2 goals of this game, scored by Ivancic. And, well, those 2 are going to head off the ice on the dump-in. That's going to be it for them, it looks like, for the evening. But fantastic start to this game, and it was because of that underclassmen connection. Ivancic, the freshman, Holleran, the sophomore. You don't see it a lot on Peters Township. Underclassmen, that is, being entrusted with regular playing time. Picked off in the slot. Turning chance for Klein. Speaking of underclassmen, the freshman nearly netted his first varsity goal, but the save was made by the sophomore Kevin Tiemann. Well, Kevin Tiemann's always going to remember this game, even if it ends in a loss for him and his Blackhawks. Up into the Bethel Park zone with 12 seconds left, and the countdown is going to be on at 10 seconds. Fans rising to their feet. The ones left here in the building right around 10:30. Time runs out. Indians win. Indians win their 3rd in a row. They dispatch the Bethel Park Blackhawks 4-1. Bethel Park has now dropped 3 in a row, including the overtime loss to Upper St. Clair. And by merit of this result, Peters Township leaps to 4-3 on the season. They jump into a 6-way tie for second place in the 11-team league. They're now 1 point ahead of Bethel Park in the standings. Bethel Park staying below them, and they're now in 8th place for what it's worth. Still early on in this 20-game schedule, but Peters Township has turned it around, and they have scored 14 goals in their past 3 games, all victories, all here on home ice. They'll head to the road next week as they'll play Baldwin for the first time this year, and they'll try to keep up the pace. Meanwhile, Bethel Park, they'll try to get it righted again. They won 3 of 4 to start the season. And now the Blackhawks heading toward Thanksgiving week. They won't play again until Thursday, November the 30th at Mount Lebo. So a lot of time to chew on this 3-game losing streak for Mike Shaw and company. The only goal scorer for the boys in black tonight, Doug Hartman, his team leading 5th off a brilliant assist from Ethan Cooley following an offensive zone faceoff. But by that time, it was already going to be an unlikely comeback scenario for BP as Peters Township scores twice in the first, both from Blake Ivancic. He's got 4 on the year as a freshman. They scored twice more in the second. Drew Alexander, a shorthanded goal. That one really stung the Blackhawks. Then Caputo with a deflection marker 6 minutes later. By the way, Drew Alexander had a goal and an assist. Troy Jones had an assist. Camden Martin picked up an assist. He leads the team with 9 points. And Charlie Caputo scored his 3rd goal in as many games. Kyle Thomas stops all but one thrown his way as he earns his 3rd win of the season. Ended up being a 25 shot output for Bethel Park, so 24 saves for Kyle Thomas. PT fired 33 shots at Kevin Tiemann, and he stopped 29. Well, for Todd Kazarowski and his crew, everyone on site at Printscape Arena, thank you for contributing to the atmosphere, for contributing to the broadcast. Thank you for watching. If you joined at any point during our Tuesday high school hockey night doubleheader, thank you so much. Remember, you can check out 10-Band TV online, on your mobile device, through Amazon Fire TV, or even Roku. I'm Matt Gajtka saying good night and God bless. We'll talk to you next time on High School Hockey Night Live on the PIHL channel. Kyle Palmieri, longtime NHL forward. Zach Palmieri, a senior forward for Peters Township. Here's Caputo dropping it off. Camden Martin hit the iron. Possibly the top of the post, maybe where the post and the crossbar wristed it. Ended up in the equipment of one of the Blackhawks. Put toward the front. Score! Blake Ivanchich cracks it in from the doorstep. That's where you score goals, young man. Ivanchich turned up ice, and Caden Bush on the handoff to DePasquale, turned it over. Ivanchich to the front. Alexander backhand. I think he was stopped by Tiemann. Point blank range. Backhand. I think he was stopped by Tiemann. Point blank range. Didn't hear a post. Wateska shooting redirected. Glove save by Tiemann. Off the tip from Drew Alexander. Two good chances in the span. Kicked ahead by Holleran. Holleran gets it right back down the wing. Got an opportunity here. Holleran put it in front. Ivanchich scores again. It's the same combination. 24-22. Sophomore to freshman. Pass goes under the stick of Will Alborg. He couldn't handle it. Oh boy, one of the Blackhawks doesn't have a stick. That's Mason Devitt Reeder. He's right in front of the net now as Jones shoots, and Tiemann bails out his teammate with a blocker save. That's the last place you want. One of the Blackhawks ended up on his wallet back there and cracked out of the zone by Alberg. The chase is on. Hartman, Doug Hartman, and he's run off by Schleeper. Good play. On comes All is running things. The Blackhawks win the draw. Carner, far side, turned over. Alexander bidding for a shorty, and he just missed on the pull-up move. Peters Township has 15% success rate. Camden Martin back, turning the goal. Thought about passing it in front. Now he does. Alexander, score! Short-handed goal. If at first you don't succeed, Drew Alexander tried. Alexander muscles in to take this. Dropped it back for a one-time shot. Didn't get through. Still loose. Maeda was the one who had that first shot. Caused the havoc. Alexander again. That's blocked out high. Stripped from behind by Camden Martin. Outstanding defense from the Indians' top point man. Alexander carries it wide. Alexander trying to go short side. He put it into the triangle, so to speak, of the defense. It handcuffs you close to your body. Schleeper shooting deflected. Score! Caputo with a drive-by in the slot. He tipped the Schleeper shot behind Tiemann. 4-0 attack. 2 in the first, 2 in the second for Peters Township. They're trying to put it in cruise control. Here's Scuba cruising by, and Tiemann makes that save with the glove right next to his hip of Tiemann. And scooped up by the Blackhawks. Bednar, one more time down this right wing. Kylan Bednar, nifty backhand, but Thomas equal to that task with 3:11 to go in the second. That's the way across the rink. And the Blackhawks are on the board. Doug Hartman takes it from Ethan Cooley. Cooley went straight forward by an Indian, couldn't do it. Scubert hooks it back to the point. Maeda faked one way, went the other. Luka Maeda trying to bank it in off the netminder, and Tiemann holds his ground with 10:25 left. Getting the stop. Lifted ahead by the Indians right in front of the goal. Ivanchich, again a hat-trick bid, bouncing around, and Ivanchich got a shot away after the deflection fell to the ice, but by that time the net had been knocked off its mooring. Around 10:30, time runs out. Indians win. Indians win their third in a row. They dispatch the Bethel Park Blackhawks 4-1. Bethel Park has now dropped 3 in a row, including the overtime loss to Upper St. Clair. And by merit of this result, Peters Township leaps to 4-3 on the season. They jump into a 6-way tie for second place in the 11-team league. They're now 1 point ahead of Bethel Park in the standings. Bethel Park staying below them, and they're now in 8th place for what it's worth. Still early on in this 20-game schedule, but Peters Township has turned it around, and they have scored 14 goals in their past 3 games, all victories, all here on home ice. They'll head to the road next week as they'll play Baldwin for the first time this year, and they'll try to keep up the pace. Meanwhile, Bethel Park, well, they'll try to get it righted again. They won 3 of 4 to start the season. And now the Blackhawks heading toward Thanksgiving week. They won't play again until Thursday, November the 30th at Mount Lebo. So a lot of time to chew on this 3-game losing streak for Mike Shaw and company. The only goal scorer